This episode of Keeping Tabs is sponsored by Doot Loot, your go-to vendor for non-English foils, signed and altered cards, reserve list staples, judge promos, and secret lairs. Doot Loot has cards for every budget, starting in just $5. It's a simple, no-nonsense card feed updated weekly, with monthly giveaways and free tokens every order. Join the over 4,500 members on Discord and follow on Instagram at DootLootIG.
Well, today we've got Keeping Tabs. We're talking about this before, and I think this is the first kind of iteration. We'll kind of move around. Sometimes we'll do people on an episode together. Sometimes we'll do kind of like an ensemble cast. And we've all definitely been on an episode together, like when we're recording in person and kind of like switching seats. But I don't know if there's ever been an episode like just the three of us. That's so cool.
No.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's true, huh? Yeah.
I think it's
exciting.
really cool both for like us and for people who watch the show to have kind of the rotating cast of people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like a sitcom. It's like they're all the same characters. They just may not be on every episode. And it's like Kramer walks in through the door, says some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Usually racist, but we're only that against robots apparently.
Bro, don't even get me started.
Oh, that's the simulation.
I don't know if you guys have been following the whole like Molt book thing.
Oh no, it has the word book in it. I don't read, so
this has nothing to do with cEDH, and I don't want to get too existential, so I'll just give you the TLDR. But the like agentic AI, so you can like spin up your own like little personal agent AI.
Mhm.
They all started their own Reddit, and it's called Molt Book, and they're like posting back and forth, and it's
Concerning?
both concerning and fascinating.
yeah, I get see.
The only like saving grace of the whole thing is like when you're reading it, you can tell that it's just the fact that they've read so much Reddit data to be trained on that they are not intelligent. They just know how to copy Reddit really well.
Interesting.
Why do they keep referencing Waterboy?
There's just a post. Hey, is this a good card and farm?
Dude, it's so funny. It'll be like, hey guys, I'm new here. My name is whatever. My creator gave it to me. I'm just curious about the vibes here. I'm like, oh, it's just joining a new subreddit. That's all this is.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Do you guys
crazy.
think Ristic Study is
I'll
good
have
on
to check
Rise?
that out. Jesus.
It's interesting. I'll after the show, I'll send you some links of some of the like crazier ones I've seen.
That's
Sick.
so fascinating. Well, at the end of the episode, we'll have to compare what we've said to what they've said, and we'll see which one is more human. Yeah,
Dude, I can't wait for us to all have AI agents, and we'll just ship YouTube videos out with just our agents talking to each
Dude,
other.
honestly, it would be pretty funny. You know how they do like Twitch plays Pokemon and stuff, where it's like they chat. Someone's got to set up like Twitch plays cEDH, where it's like three of us at a pod, and then one person at a computer with like an open hand, and then it's just like each hand thing is like given a number, and so like whenever there's a point to interact, like everyone just like spams one to counter the fish. Like
I think that would be the fastest rundown because like someone's just getting decon to death immediately.
Yeah.
Decon named Tarmogoyf died.
Yep. Oh,
well, anyway, we have tabs because that's what we do. We keep them. I'm
We
gonna
do.
get those open. So
Eric
we
will
have-
be back soon, I think.
Yeah, in theory.
My webcam lived a true neutral life. So now that it's in purgatory, it keeps going to hell and heaven, and so in between it gets inside which one it wants to do.
It's neither in the good place nor the bad place, but it
No.
also doesn't work very well.
Oh my word, this is the bad place.
Shit. Why is
speaking of
everything
places
frozen
that are,
yogurt?
Speaking of places that are crazy hot, Arizona. This one's going to be in May. Super duper excited about this. This one's at Cradle to the Guild, which, you know, one thing we know about it has great bathrooms. Second thing we know about it is that, like, as far as venues go, whatever spectrum you're going to create of like low quality, if you were to describe high quality locations for cEDH events, the boys in Arizona know how to find those kind of places. So it's really, really looking forward to. I know I'm attending this one. Jordan, Austin, are either one of you guys gonna be able to get out there?
I have
Maybe.
to choose between this and Tap for Hope because my sister's wedding is right between those, and I can't take
Dang.
a whole month off.
Dang.
No, bro.
Did your
Employment's
sister play
overrated. It's
Portland?
fine.
Wait, what?
You could tell her to get married in Portland for charity.
Dude, it's out. It's actually like out in, I don't know, fucking. It's like some national park. She wants people to hike up to her like wedding venue.
Bro, that's
like, this
rude.
is insane. Like,
Yeah,
what are you
it's rude.
talking
It's
about?
so
It's in
funny.
Yosemite. That's where it is.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
Yosemite is really pretty. So
Which,
at
like,
least
don't get me
that'll
wrong,
be-
like, super cool. But like, dude, my sister's 41 right now,
No.
meaning everyone in our family that's like not kids is older. So
Yep.
like, good luck hiking. Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Whatever. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I want to go to this or Tap for Hope. So
Yeah, I'll be in Japan for Tap for Hope, and then we get back like 5 or 6 days before this, so maybe. But it's we'll see. The first week back, like I think I don't have jet lag at all going out there, but coming back for like a week, I basically don't exist.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Have
I don't
you
know if
looked
it's,
up to see if there's a God of Commander tournament while you're out there?
that would be gas. I have not.
Dude,
Oh my
you should look it up.
I think they would just throw me out for yapping too hard.
I mean, possibly. You can also. Are you part of the Blight Club Discord? Because like they
Yeah, I
have.
am. Yeah.
You should try to like hook up with some of those guys that are out there and see.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna like be like one of the few people who's like, we are not letting Helga bounce on it, guys. You can't. It's not happening.
You're like,
Oh, does everyone know what Helga does?
yeah. Their whole meta is like, yes, no, we lose this deck all the time, dude.
Yep.
Well,
Dude,
if
it's
you
like
guys wanna
Helga
get
and Gitrog.
in touch with people who are going to be in Arizona, I'm pretty sure if we don't already, we are going to be having a little like event channel in this.
Yep.
So if you're in the Critical Discord and you're going to be traveling, you can coordinate. I'm going to be hanging out there because there's nothing I love more than mooching off of people when they go to eat dinner. So I'm definitely going to be hanging out in there, and you guys should too if you're planning on going.
Oh, also, if you top the leaderboard for the standings of this month in the league, then you get a free entry into this tournament.
Yep. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then we also have the man himself who you can DM for coaching. Advertising the Siege at the Siege cEDH 10K that's going to be here in Colorado. This advert's like actually kind of sick.
It is really cool. Man,
Yeah.
it's I think I could actually walk there. I'm like,
That's crazy.
I'm not joking. I'm pretty sure I can walk there. That's so sick.
Dude, it's like literally in a castle. I saw Zane's message in our Discord. He's like, this place can't be real, right? And we're like, no, it is.
It is, yeah. Also, we got an update on the mat, which is getting drawn by a local of ours, and
Sick.
it looks so sick. He's
Really?
done like the inking for it so far, and it looks amazing.
Is it Abraham or
Yeah,
Steven, or
it's
who's
Abraham.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Abraham's mats are sick.
Yeah. No. I don't think you understand, Jordan. This thing is dope. Like, dude, the castle, like the castle gate, is a necropotent's head.
That's
Whoa.
crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
it's so
Oh,
dope.
that's so
I'm just
cool.
like,
Is it kind of like similar in the style to a Zatali one?
it's similar to a Where's Waldo book.
Whoa! Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. I want that frantic search really bad.
Also, did you know that there's a Waldo in a Magic card?
No,
Really?
what?
Okay, hold on. Keep talking. I need to actually look this up, or I'm getting trolled by Logan.
I also didn't realize that this ad is narrated by Joseph. So you want to go find it on Twitter and listen to him sell you on coming to hang out with us. But we're for sure gonna have it, a gold the night before, I'd imagine, and just like a ton of fun. And then you get to hang out with us, the Basics guys. I would imagine we're gonna have a whole slew of other creators there. So it's gonna be a great time.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's so when we were doing Mortal Kombat, it was both the first time we were hosting a tournament, so there were a ton of details we were trying to get in place. And also, I literally moved the day before and the day of Mortal Kombat. So I did nothing extemporaneous, and I am so excited because this is, I think, the biggest cEDH tournament that we've had in Colorado since Mortal Kombat, I think.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to like driving out from the mountains, bringing my my tent and sleeping bag with me, and just like posting up within like 10 feet of wherever there's magic, and just to be just surrounded by cEDH and all the people traveling is just so much fun. And I know I've enjoyed going to events like Fishbowl, and I'm really looking forward to going to like Tap for Hope and just JMD Grid, but it'll be really, really nice to be able to have that kind of like home turf experience.
Okay, There is a Waldo in a Golgari Rot farm.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's in the Double Masters 2022 copy of it.
That's so sick.
Wait, yeah, it's crazy. I was like, I can't believe this is real.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then we have one more tournament to talk about. We have the Atlantic City TCG show. This is the same, I believe, the same folks who did Sinkhole 1 and 2.
Yeah. It's the New Jersey folks.
Sick.
I just heard, what is his name? He was up on Bite Size MTG, their podcast this week. But yeah, a lot of the New Jersey folks, I've run into them at Pittsburgh, and I really enjoyed playing with them. They're awesome guys, and they run super cool events. They're trying to rebuild or like build up the New Jersey scene, and I think this is the first time that they're going to try to hit like a 64-person event. I think they hit 50 the last one. So
cool.
Hey, yeah, who are like the big players out of New Jersey? Isn't like Snaz from there?
Unsure.
I know it's really close for Comedian because he plays in all of their events, but it's not like actually local.
Yeah, I'm unsure who's actually out in New Jersey. I know that I think a lot of the good players out in like that side of the country are like a little bit more west from there.
Yep.
From what I understand, there's also like New York, like Sabretooth is from New York, so like that's a super quick trip for him.
Yeah.
This is also
I mean, like,
2.5
if any
weeks
of our
away.
listeners are in the New Jersey area, let us know.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been so much fun to figure out kind of like, at some point we've got to like get like this like big map of like the US and then put pins in like every place that someone that we've played a Magic game with is like from.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. I think that because I feel like we just get to meet so many people, and I would love to. I think it's just always so fascinating to me how little like the physical space that like a store takes up will affect the culture of like the cEDH like meta and philosophy. And it's always so interesting to see which cards get like really, really popular, people really, really don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always so fun.
The regional metas are so fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, like, just I want to know how they get formed. And obviously it's informed by like the players who were there, but it had to start somewhere.
So I do think that it has to just get formed from like the best player there, right?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Like our meta is defined by what Jason is doing, depending on what deck he's playing a lot of the time, right?
Yeah, because it's either looking to like ape it or it's looking to be in like direct opposition to it.
Exactly.
Because you're either in like a if it's not broke, don't fix it situation, or it's like I play against the same blue farm list every single Friday. Try to put time together. I don't know if that's like what the order of operations there, but yeah, I do feel like not only just the decks that Jason's plays, but so many aspects of him as a player, I think have like influenced us a lot, both positive and negative. And yeah, so I think that's also part of why I'm really interested in knowing like who some of the more prolific players out there are, or seeing what type of prolific players it produces.
It's also kind of interesting. And well, I have 2 points. One, this is on the Atlantic City Boardwalk. So if you scrub out and drop, you can just go like gamble and get blasted. So like that's always an option. And also it's just like super fun over there. And then I saw Bruce Springsteen walking down the Atlantic City Boardwalk once when I grew up in Jersey, or like was there for a few years.
We just get more Jordan lore every episode where you're just like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of life did you live?
Yeah, we followed him to like, because this was back when People magazine was popular, to try and like take pictures to submit to People to like get $50 or whatever.
That's so funny.
But then second, I was thinking as we're talking about like metas adapting to the best player in the region, like then there's Sam's meta that like just doesn't seem to adjust to him dunking on them at Mana Vault every single month.
Yeah, they like apparently play fucking stacks, and you're like, as a Thrasios deck, you're like, unless it's Dampening Sphere, I do not care.
No. Thanks. But anyway, this event's in like 2 weeks. It's going to be super sick. If you're in or around the area, or you're going to be in Jersey for, whatever reason, go check it out. And we wanted to talk about the Sprint League because this just finished up.
Yeah, it just finished up. We're getting our stuff compiled to pay people out and whatnot. From what I understand, I didn't really get to watch the top 4 game, but it ended in a true draw, like where it was like actual king making.
Interesting.
Or at least that's kind of what I've heard through the grapevine. Yeah. But I mean, it's awesome that Perez has done really well in a few of our leagues now. Matt Hayes was up there, and like it's just really, really cool that the Sprint League was able to pay out and send some of that money to the judges. Not yet, it will. But yeah, congrats to all the players that played in this.
Dude, we've gotten nothing but like extremely positive feedback about the sprint.
Yeah.
They were like some of the highest level games I've ever played in our league,
Dude.
and just like it was crazy.
And it does sound like there's a vague idea to run a sprint fringe.
Yeah.
It sounds like the want is there, so we're probably going to do it.
Yep. And ban list will probably be really similar to our Fringe Fest plus Shorikai for reasons.
Yeah. I do think that like just making a flat being like, okay, you can only have 3 colors in the command zone, you can only have 2 cards in the command zone, or 1 card in the command zone.
Yep.
And just like have fun, you know? But yeah, I think that's definitely going to happen. We'll come up with a list, we'll send it out, and we'll actually announce it at some point. For sure.
Also, perfect opportunity to showcase just like one of my favorite quality of life features that Zane added, where he has Discord names linked with top deck names now on the leaderboard. It just makes everything so much easier.
Oh,
I agree. For us, there are some people that are like, please take this away.
Fair enough.
But for me, logistics wise, I'm like, yes, I love this so much. But yeah, I do like this feature.
Yeah, also, shouts to Thomas at 51 games, bro.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, in the sprint league?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Fuck?
Yeah.
I was just saying that, like, when we go to, like, Magic tournaments, people need to start, like, bringing name tags with their Discord name on it.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Because they're always like, hey, it's me, Ryan. I'm like, do you have, like, is there, like, some sort of anime profile picture? Or, like, what am I working with here?
Oh, that's funny.
You know, and they'll be like, oh, it's like, I'm JDM Watt. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Dude, we actually saw such like an interesting dynamic at our Airbnb in Boston or in Providence, because Sky and Jay have talked to each other multiple times on Discord and have met each other in like at a tournament, and they're like, wait, I know you now. They're just like, what is happening?
Yeah, because they're both judges too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah, that happened to me and Logan at Land Go, because we were walking down to meet up with like Min and Hayne and the other people we traveled with, and I just hear this person go, "That's not how that interaction works." I'm like, I have heard that in Discord before. And then I run over and I see this Blue Farm player like absolutely like cooking people, and they're just like, "Hey guys!" I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Sky!" It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I live for the meeting in person stuff. It's like one of the best parts of what we get to do. But yeah, Sprint League was sick. Hopefully Fringe Sprint coming soon. We have 2 more sponsors to get through before we get to the juicy stuff for this week.
Yeah.
So we got
league sponsorship or league partnership is with Bite Sized MTG. The 4 guys over there that run this channel, Snack and Wayne. I think I've met the other 2, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yep.
But yeah, so if you subscribe to their channel or to their Patreon, then you get free access to the league this month. But yeah, their channel's really cool. They go into like a lot of cEDH theory, and they've done some intro videos too, which is really cool. So
something I like about what they do with some of their shorts content is they'll do kind of like quick situations of like, you know, it's turn 2. You know, Dark Writ, you know, Cabal Ritual, Adnaz. And someone goes to like Mind Break Trap it. What do you say to politic your way out of it? Go. And they'll just do like a ton of stuff like that. I think it's always really fun to get to hear like, I don't know. It's that this probably like stems back to like the roots of our like our channel early on and like interviewing players at like tournaments. But I always find the different like perspectives that people bring so fascinating in combination with like the subtlety of how someone would communicate how they want their own board state to be perceived in like a hypothetical situation. It's just very interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree. Like one of his like main talking points in a lot of his videos are just like every spell can resolve. You just need to make the right deal for it to resolve. And I think it's a really interesting concept.
Yeah, I agree.
Dude, also this latest post, I literally didn't see this, but that is my childhood friend from like middle school.
Moss?
Yeah.
Yeah, go check out Bite Sized. They just did another good, really awesome interview with kind of the 3 dudes who helped revamp VB. And then obviously Julian was cooking people on it as well. But yeah, check it out. A lot of good stuff to learn from Zach and crew.
Yep.
And then we have the Mulligan Eldrazi.dev. I think this is like, we're so lucky to get to see so many new amazing tools. We're going to talk about all of them today, which is super sick. But this is one that every time I use it, I'm just like, what? This is crazy. So I have a couple saved lists on here. Because we haven't shown Eldrazi on the channel yet, right?
I don't think so. There is a really good episode on Bite Size that goes through
sick.
a lot of features.
Yep.
With the developer. But this is basically just a mulligan tool. It is very similar to your Moxfield mulligan tool. I think the shortcuts and like the interface is a lot easier to use, specifically like using your floating mana and whatnot. But the other good thing about this is that if you look, I think in your under the pod tab at the top left, it'll tell you like a made pod for you and a seat. And so it gives you a better idea of like what you should be mulliganing for and in real life scenarios, quote unquote real life scenarios.
Like in this game, I can see that I'm dying.
Yeah. You're dead.
Yeah. I don't get to win this game, which is fine. But some of the other, like,
that's not true, dude. In your game, in your deck, like if these are both trad Sisseys, then you just hold swords above all of them, and they can't do anything.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, but then you just have to use it on the Ral. I guess things get interesting then. You just have to make it to turn 3 with 1 untapped white mana the whole time.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
How hard could it be?
Yeah, the tool, like one of my favorite things it does is it has the simulation of value engines.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say like, hey, I have a consecrated sphinx. Do like an RNG for me on how many cards I drew over the last turn cycle.
Yep.
Yes.
And same thing for treasure tokens. You can like, I have a Ragavan, a Lotho. I guess Monologue Text is technically a card. And
don't hate on Master of Keys cards like that.
I think I'd have to, if I recall correctly, I believe Monologue Text is actually a good card. I don't remember how that episode ended.
You know what? I think that's true.
But I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, because it's like, I mean, it's not the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, second, how bad is second worst?
True.
One other feature I want that I just like realized today, you can create a related token. So like you can just go on your OBM and create your orc army.
Sick.
And then obviously like they're our partner for the league this month. So if you, and they're advertising it on their channel, but if you are a paid patron of Eldrazi.dev, you get a free entry to the league. So after you finish playtesting your deck and you're ready to come jam some real games, come hang out with us in the league.
Also, there are some like features that I don't know if they're completely implemented yet, but I know they were talking about putting like Nas piles like generated. Same thing with like Necro piles. Like it should just like separate those things out for you. Again, I don't know if that's in the program yet, but it is being talked about as a feature.
It would make sense. Given like another kind of essentially just a feature of the site is like cEDH puzzles have been around like forever.
Yep.
I remember that's one of the first things that we set up in like the Loomer Discord, and people would just like send screenshots of like the Maestro playtester, be like, or of their board state, and be like, oh, how do you navigate this? But something that's so cool is with Mulligan, Eldrazi.dev, you can save like essentially board states, and when you send the link to someone, they're able to have full control over the playtester, which I think has made it way more interesting to like, they have like a whole list of like puzzles. It'll open up with like the parameters or the conditions. And then you're able to you can go through the line where you like decon for like Born Upon a Wind, and then you have to like draw into a rock, and then you like see what you draw off the Born Upon a Wind or things like that. I think it's really kind of like reinvigorated my interest in like mulliganing just as kind of like a pastime. And yeah, I think there's so many things that it does that are just like a little bit easier. I'm like, just being able to like keep pressing N to like mulligan. I don't know why. I never figured out what the shortcut was to like mulliganing in like the Maximal Playtester, but I just like it. It's really good. You guys should use it too.
Yeah. I also think they are running a puzzle that if like you figure it out, then you have an entry of possibly getting into the Critical EDH League as well this month.
Yeah.
I think it's a Kinnan puzzle from Cyreno, and I looked at it and I was like, nope, no idea.
I know that they had Dexter and Shaka maybe do a Rogsai puzzle. I don't remember who the two Youngbloods were who did it, and I was like, I'm not even gonna bother because I don't understand this deck.
Yeah. Dude, I did see there was a puzzle that was being shared around in one of the Discords, and they're like, oh yeah, this hand is like not keepable. Like everyone was like looking at it, and then like one person was like, there's a line to get a turn 2 Breach and Necrodom with flash speed in play right now, and I was like, what? It was literally like turn 1 crop rot, like play fetch land, grab a bayou, crop rot it into a different fetch land so you could fill your breach. And I was like, that's actually insane. Like, or no, it's so that you could fill things up for your shifting woodlands that was possible. It was insane. I was like, this is a crazy line.
I just love stuff like that, like, so much. Like, and I've benefited so much, for instance, I think like Jason will stroll in after being in like the Grixis Discord and will throw like a puzzle around too. And I always find it so, like, in such a positive way, it's so like extremely humbling. Because I feel like the three of us are usually one of the first people to reply, and the first person who thinks they've come up with an answer always got the mana wrong. Like,
yeah. Well, because
like,
usually I'm like looking at it.
You breach, and then Jason will be like, "There's literally only one card in graveyard. What are you escaping?" And you're like, "Oh, I forgot how that works."
Dude, usually what happens is I'm looking at it on my phone, and like, yes, you can use this playtester on your phone, and it still works and whatnot. But like, to get through some of these puzzles, like, they're very intricate, and you're like, no, I need to sit at a computer and like figure this shit out. But yeah, no, I think those puzzles are really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we have, I just recorded the long requested Mulligan video for Gendargo, which I recorded in here. That's available to patrons now and will be available to non-patrons soon. So if you want to see like a more in-depth example of how to use the tool and like, how the deck works, all that good stuff, check that out as well. And now fighting out of, I don't know, the corner of cheating, I guess.
The corner.
We have some stuff.
Okay, so just a little intro. There was some things that happened at Rumble that we decided not to talk about last week for reasons. That was a mistake. We've kind of admitted it. So we're going to talk about them now. The first one is that there was a cheating scandal that happened between two very notable players. Kai Powell goes by Fervent Alchemist, I think is their name, and Joseph Stacko. Relevant things that happened is that Kai was playing Kethis. No, not Kethis. The Abzan commander that makes legendaries cheaper, and you can exile 2 legendaries out of your graveyard to cast one of the legendaries from your graveyard for.
Oh yeah.
In this situation, Sacco was doing a breach combo with Grinding Station and DRC. So
question mark.
Yeah. And so he was able to like fill his graveyard longer than, or with more cards than you traditionally can with this combo. But we get to the point where he is like recognized that Kai has an Angel's Grace. So he is able to mill everyone out. Stacko has a Final Fortune in hand and a Mastermind, so he just knows that he can just kill them on their next turn. So what happens in this spot is that he mills everyone out. Then Kai is able to cast a Gerard's Pendant. I don't know what that card is. Or like I don't know what the actual title of the card is, but then taps Delighted Halfling, saying that it's uncounterable. In this situation, that is not a legal game action because the pendant is a 0 mana spell at that point, so you can't spend mana to make it uncounterable.
Interesting.
Yeah. So because of this, more game actions had to be taken to like try to win through their Final Fortune or with their Final Fortune that shouldn't have had to be taken, essentially, because he did have counter spells in hand that he could have gotten rid of, this pendant, or among other things. There's a lot of other things that got fucked on because of this situation, right? They bounce the pendant, and then Kai casts it for 0 this time. And that is when both Stacko and another player in the pod called Judge, because they're like, oh, that was a dishonest situation because now you're casting it for 0, even though you knew that it should stay 0, essentially. Or your previous one should have also been 0.
Okay.
So it's basically like accepting that you misplayed before about 60 seconds earlier. There was a giant investigation that took about 30 to 40 minutes. And what happened was the ruling basically said they can try to back up as much as they can, which is like basically impossible because things have been exiled. Depending on what was exiled, you can't back that up because of breach. And essentially what happened was they went into Kai's turn and he was able to win through flash speed with the Urza's Battlecopter. But Stacko had a fairy mastermind, so they basically they drew because everyone was like would die because Stacko didn't have enough cards in his library as well. So basically what happened was someone cheated and there was an investigation. The judge's ruling is a really interesting part of this, is that the judge ruled that he did it with intention and gained advantage, but not enough advantage to be DQ'd from this tournament. I might be missing some pieces here and there based on the story that is written. There is a doc out there. If you look it up, Stacko talks about it. But this is insane. Like, this is absolutely insane that the judge ruled that he did it intentionally, but didn't gain enough advantage, even though it definitely got him a draw in this game because Stacko would have won if it was not done like that.
So interesting, dude. Interesting is like the wrong word to use to describe it, but judging these events is going to become a progressively higher stakes situation.
Yeah.
And you're also, as you judge events with like progressively higher, more public facing names, it's going to be a more stressful situation as well. So I don't know, my TLDR from this, or my takeaway from this, is like, it's so important to stay aware of your game state, but also your opponent's game states as things go on and as the game occurs, especially decks that are either very game action intensive or are more fringe from what you're normally used to playing against. It requires that like extra degree of attention to what's going on to make sure that everything stays above board.
Yeah, I mean, it's really crazy that this situation happened between two players that are pretty known. You know, obviously, Stacko got really tilted during this situation, and he's open about it and being like, realistically, I should have been able to still win, and I just like misplayed essentially. But I think realistically that the big thing that needs to be talked about is that like the judge said that they didn't gain advantage, even though they absolutely did.
Yeah, and like, you know, if we're going to throw around sufficient versus insufficient advantage, like what's the criteria for that?
Oh, yeah. No, dude, like it's crazy because like there's not ever a gray line in any other part of Magic, right?
Right.
Like the minute that someone gains a trigger off of something that you do, we're like, oh no, you can't put that back on. Like you have to put that back on the stack, or you can't take that off the stack, right?
Yeah.
But like what? Like this guy gained an untap of all of his mana, and we're saying that's not advantage. Like that's insane. Like what are we doing here?
Yeah. Like I've been in multiple tournament situations where something has not been allowed to be taken back, not because we're unable to repair the board state in terms of like no one can remember what 30 cards got exiled to like Underworld Breach, but because it was a particularly impactful spell and we already knew that 2 players had passed priority. And like, knowing that blue farm with 30 cards is passing on Time Sieve is like unrecoverable information that has now like permanently altered the pod dynamics. And I think just like you said, that it's an area where you'll see that 1v1 just has to be taken very differently than 1v1 v1 in a lot of ways. And for me, this underscores and highlights how potentially cEDH is moving into areas that potentially the original rules of Magic were unprepared for, or the original tournament rules of Magic, especially keeping in mind that, these were developed in a time when like ESPN is covering like RCQs and stuff. And so it really, really reminds me of the importance of like, the judge already ruled that it was like an unrecoverable board state and that they couldn't like, but that the advantage gained wasn't like crossing like the threshold or the fulcrum or whatever. But I would be interested in how this affects rulings moving forward. Like I'm not a part of like the judge Discord, but I'd be very interested in hearing what other judges think of this, because as someone who hasn't judged a tournament, I think there's kind of this like internal reaction, this kind of like the automatic response of like, well, that doesn't feel quite right. But that's because I've always experienced it from the player end. And I can almost feel in this moment sitting in my chair how Stacko must have felt. But I'm really curious what a judge's first response would be. And if there's some little like element of like processing or training that goes into being a judge that would make certain aspects of this story stand out to them that wouldn't for us.
Yeah. I will say, I just want to highlight in this document, the second paragraph, which is a quote from the judge. says, I was about to DQ him. I do believe that he knew what he was doing and that it was intentionally trying to gain an advantage. However, the advantage gained was insufficient for a DQ. If he had 1% chance to win, it was still a 1% chance to win, even with the action he took, which is just like not true.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And unfortunately, this was like the head judge, so he like couldn't even appeal this, right?
Right.
I do know from like other Discord talking back and forth that like basically every other judge is like, no, this is a DQable offense. And unfortunately, we just had the wrong one, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I think something else that really sticks out to me about this, and kind of to Eric's point of like the rulings for tournament Magic largely being derived from 1v1, cEDH, I think, is a format that, especially for these high profile events or high stakes events, it's crucial that your judging staff has played the format beyond understanding the rules of Magic.
Agreed.
Because the social dynamic also is something that needs to be factored into rulings, and just like priority and all the other things. So
and stalling.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Well, and especially once we start evoking the terminology of intention and purpose and meaning, I think there's a sensitivity that like requires that kind of like firsthand experience. And so this story, for one, it definitely engenders a lot of compassion for me for judges, because I think it's quite the landscape you have to navigate.
Oh, dude, it's like refereeing in sports. Like they're always hated.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're a judge in the Critical League, we love you. And we don't hate you as much as we hate the refs on TV. But also, I think it's something that, you know, I like in no way should cEDH ever be separated from like Magic. You know, it shouldn't be like, you know, I don't want it to turn into like a D&D 5th edition kind of situation. But I do think that like cEDH is increasingly in an area where potentially we need some rules to safeguard players like they have in like poker or some other formats with a more social component. But we need those at a rate that like other formats don't. But we don't have very many WotC sanctioned like huge tournaments. And so there's a need from the players that maybe they don't feel an organizer. Sorry, I'd love to hear what you have to say, Austin.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Just that like a lot of the rules that came into place, you know, for instance, like our modern rules about mulliganing happened to make 1v1 Magic more watchable on television. And like other elements of the and there's more to it than that, but that was definitely had a big part to play. A lot of these like big stories, you know, WotC had no part to play as far as I'm aware, like with this tournament. They're not connected directly in terms of like an organization or a culpability or a liability thing. So there's not a huge reason for Wizards of the Coast to be even paying attention to the fact that a judge ruled according to a game around a tournament around one of their games in such and such a fashion. And so I don't know what would motivate such a rule change aside from like the commander board. I don't know.
So I think if you've like listened to a little bit of what Hire has like said is like his goal as part of the commander format panel, like it is first and foremost to make an MTR for commander that's like globally accepted, and I think that is step one of like getting a lot of this stuff done. The other problem is that there's not a judge academy anymore, so we just kind of have to judge other or we have to trust judges to like certify other judges, and like that's crazy. Like in Denver, we're very, very fortunate because we have Sylvan here, and Sylvan is amazing at being a judge and like takes their job incredibly serious and does not qualify someone to be a judge here unless like they are also very good at their job, right? But like when we're going to these like out of state tournaments, and by no means am I trying to like poo poo on every judge staff available, right? Like we just don't know, and that is a problem, right?
Yeah, I mean, the judging, kind of contrasting with this, the judging at Breach was phenomenal. Punchy is like S tier, did a great job.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out
you just never know. You just never know.
Yeah, as well as like something that stands out to me is that this is like this feels like a very emotionally charged situation, which, you know, means that the judge is having to deal with like multiple elements. And I think that one of the reasons that I think so many people so appreciate Sylvan as a judge is that they've been like a part of the community for a really long time. And so I think there's a degree of like respect that they bring to adjudications. and that results in them being able to move through the process very, very quickly, and means that, like, I think people tend to give Sylvan a lot less guff than they might other judges, because they respect them a lot more. And exactly like you said, Austin, it's not that like any player outside of like Colorado doesn't deserve to like be respected, or it's not that like judges have this responsibility where like they're going to be disrespected until, you know, proven competent, but more so just in a moment where the tensions are high, money's on the line. It's those little kind of like intangible factors that really, really kind of contribute to the things. And having this more overarching kind of like stamp of quality, aside from like, oh, what do my friends really trust them, I think would go a long way towards the efficacy of judges in tournaments and allowing them to navigate through very like messy situations like this without having to deal with like players constantly like arguing them and disagreeing about the board state and stuff like that.
Yeah, which from what I understand, there is like a feeler out there from Wizards' end to maybe possibly restart the Judge Academy, which is only a good thing if that happens. So let's just I mean hope. Contact your Wizards representative to try to get it passed, you know?
I wanted to shout out Hire to you know, he was on Winning In recently talking about like some of the rule changes he's been mulling over, like in his mind. Obviously, nothing concrete, but they were talking about potential changes to the cleanup step as far as like being able to skirt it with necro triggers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Hire came to our Discord and was chatting with people. And by the end of that conversation, he's like, you know what? Maybe this wasn't the best idea. And there were things I didn't consider. And talking to all of you guys has allowed me to see that there was like a lot more that needed to be considered before we can go through any sort of change like that. So Hire's like really engaged with the player base. He's really engaged with where a lot of the discourse is happening, which happens to be our Discord, which like I'm super grateful for. And he's just really committed to making things happen the right way. So I think that was cool.
Yep. Anything else on this?
I don't think so. So we'll move on to the next one.
On to a thing that's a little bit closer to home.
Yeah. So we very consciously chose not to talk about this last week. And that's obviously something that our audience isn't privy to because they're not privy to us having that conversation. And then something that was really interesting was we were recording last week when this came out, right? So timestamp 7:16 p.m. was when Jason decided to let this tweet out. It's a phenomenal apology. Like I think it's extremely well written. But the reason we chose not to talk about it was because we wanted Jason to be the one to have an opportunity to give his voice to the situation. But dude's in school in a really intensive major. So, you know, class takes precedent to appearing on the show, which we totally get. But we heard what everyone said, and we know that talking about it publicly is the right thing. So we want to take the opportunity to do that in this episode.
Yeah, so just kind of what happened. Jason was, I think, in their round 2 of Royal Rumble and was playing with a friend of the channel. The Matt Hayes was in this pod. Jason cast a meme bet, and Matt had a piece of interaction. In this spot, Jason told Matt that he was like, oh, okay, now that you can stop me, I am down to just like meme bet for that Ristic study that's in someone's graveyard or something along those lines. And then Matt let it happen. And then Jason proceeded to win the game with this meme bet. Those two have had multiple conversations outside of the public space and are, from what I understand, okay. But I think it was just more lying in cEDH. And it's unfortunate that it happened from someone that's in our team, right? I will take the stance that I have always taken with liars that, like, fuck them. Realistically, like, it's unfortunate now that I can't make deals with someone that's in our team. Right? Obviously, this public statement is part 1 of like trying to rebuild the trust of the community so that they can participate in that part of the game. But I will tell you, from last weekend's perspective, the system is working. Like, Jason was trying to make deals this weekend with our locals, and people were like, no. And like, that feels bad to say, right? Number 1. But number 2, like, that's exactly what we want the community's response to be to someone that is outward lying, right? I hate that it came from someone on our team. I really do. But I hope that he takes it in stride, and it seems like he is. He's taking it on the chin. He's taking lots of jokes on the chin at his expense. But I think that he just has to be an honest player for a long time before people like accept that this is something in the past, unfortunately.
One thing I want to be, at least to my perception, I don't think anyone is being harder on Jason than Jason is in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm really proud of him for taking ownership and stepping up. And I don't know, man. I think it's really hard to be a player as talented and as gifted as Jason is, also in as much of a leadership position in the community as he is, with as much of a spotlight as he has on him. Like, I don't want to diminish that that's a challenging situation to be in. And I think, I can't speak for Jason, but I would guess that his sentiment coming out of this is that he wants to be so much better than everyone else that he doesn't need to lie to win a game. And I think that's like also just true. Like, he is unbelievably good at the game. And I think that I'm really frustrated that this happened from our team. I'm really sad's not quite the right word, but I'm also really hopeful that this is something that Jason's realized can't happen again, and that our stance as a team has not changed and is not going to change.
Yeah, just like Austin was talking about earlier, I really like everything you guys are saying. And for me, I think it just underscores, I think, why we as a creative team wanted to privilege Jason being able to say that like in his own voice and in his own words, because us say, having interacted with him one-on-one only goes so far in terms of like the public image. But I do respect, one of his biggest things coming out of this kind of talking with him was just how bad he felt. I think it's really, really interesting. And we can talk, I think there's two discussions, the internal discussions about like the emotional and like relational consequences of like being part of like a content creation team where we're all like differing degrees of like involved and competitive and what it means to stay that involved and that competitive, but also the external of like how cEDH is perceived and cEDH players are perceived. And I think I would like to try and like buttress those into two different conversations to focus on the first one. Yeah, some of the things I struggle with the most when it comes to stuff like this is I respect Jason so much as a player. And I want to be like him. I want to be as good as he is. I want to see things the way he sees them. And, up until this weekend, I pretty much would have 100%. I want to play the way that he plays. And so I think for me, this is a good opportunity to question like how sustainable are the play patterns that we see at the top level of like cEDH. And, in the same way that in other formats, we may, in other sports or, more athletic pursuits, we may see, if like everyone in football starts getting like concussions all of a sudden, maybe we need to like change the way that like defensive lines are maneuvered.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that we continue to see these types of, sometimes we have what we consider like something that would violate like the rules of the game, like cheating, I think is like pretty cut and dry wrong. As opposed to the primary thing that Jason did wrong was he violated the social contract. Like there's this mutual relational expectation that he capitalized on to like get a win. And so my stance with like lying is that I like hate lying, and I've tried committing myself to like never lie in games, but also I know for a certain of the fact that I'm going to end up in situations that my ideals are not ready to like handle yet. And so, I've been in like stressful pods where suddenly I'll just get like angry out of nowhere and I'll start like almost like berating people in a way that like it wouldn't in other situations. And just starting to realize that like I as a person have like reached like my limit, but I'm still stuck inside this like cEDH game. And how do I like navigate towards victory while also like emotionally kind of like putting not like putting like a cap on it so I can like very deep down like die someday, but like emotionally resolving like my internal like issues is not the responsibility of the people on my pod. And so for instance, if I'm like having a moment where I'm like very anxious and I'm just trying to like get out of the game and I like so I can win faster, right? I think it's pretty clear that I like did something wrong, but also that I have like a need in that moment. And not only how, as a friend, can I help my other friends who are in those situations in pods, but also as a community member, how can we hold people accountable for not just the sake of the individual, but the greater health of like the overall community?
Yeah. So what's also really interesting about this is that the like feedback of Jason's apology was insane. Basically, it started blowing up on Twitter, and everyone that doesn't play cEDH is just like, way to go, dude, you won the game. And like you could just tell that like they don't understand like the social contract of the format that we play, and that's fine, right? But I was not expecting that thing to happen. Also,
I wasn't expecting us to trend on all of Twitter, not just the subsphere of cEDH Twitter, but all of it.
Yeah. Also, one of the goats, one of the Mount Rushmores of Magic the Gathering, LSV, basically reposted this tweet, but it was in his defense of his bluff that's infamous at this point, and he's like, this does agree to my morals, and I'm so happy I won that game. And it was amazing. I fucking loved that tweet. I thought that was really funny.
And then, dude, the League of Legends player retweets LSV's tweet to then continue the shitposting train.
Yeah. The Jason got shitposted on this, which is very funny. It was just so funny.
And then, as Jason always does, as we're joking about that, he responds to it and says, "Can you explain this in cEDH terms, please?"
Yeah.
But
I'm just
also
bummed you made March Meltdown before I could. God damn it.
Yeah, dude. Spoiler: this is definitely going on March Meltdown.
I was gonna say it's been all but confirmed by the powers that be that we are a centerpiece of March Meltdown.
Yeah.
But I think the last thing I want to say about it, I don't know if there's any other discourse you guys want to have, but we still fucking love Jason. That has not changed. That will never change.
Yeah, agreed.
He is the GOAT, and
fuck that guy. I'm not making deals with him for a little bit, but he is still, I love that guy, Yep. But fuck him.
He's got some stuff to prove now, and he also always has. But if there's anyone that can rise to that occasion, I think it's Jason. So I'm not worried about it.
Dude, I will say just a thing that happened this weekend is on Friday, and I think our round 4. We were playing, and Jason did try to make a deal with someone at our table, and I was like, whoa. He's a known liar now. And someone was like, Jason just fuck. And the guy was like, oh yeah, I can't make a deal with you. And I was like, this is what's supposed to happen, dude. Fuck you, asshole.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing I would want to say, and I think you talked about this, I think both of you guys talked about this a little bit as well. I think that there were some ways where there were some community members who felt either like we violated their confidence by our willingness to speak on some things or not on others. Or I think there was some people very much and very strongly felt, and I think understandably so based off the timing of things, that we were picking and choosing our battles when it came with the cEDH, incidents that we want to talk about, which ones we don't. And so while I realize that we can't control the way that we're perceived, I mean, we're definitely putting out content with the intention that it be, perceived. And so just to apologize to any viewers who felt that way, hopefully now that there's a little bit more information, you can see that we weren't trying to pull the blanket over you guys. We were just trying to handle it in the best way that we can.
Yeah.
And that stems from, I think, kind of an overall commitment that we try to have in a lot of different areas of producing the best quality product that we can. And that's definitely something that I think the vast majority of the critical members have. I think the only signs of that not being the case are the constant tech issues that I not only have but inspire in the people around me. So many other things to apologize for in that area. But yeah, and just as much as we love Jason, we also love the idea of a cEDH tournament where you can go all out, you can put it all on the line, and then you can walk away having known that you did everything that you could within your power. And when we lie to each other, we take just a little bit of that power away from the people around us. And so just in the same way that we're looking forward to the ways that Jason will, over time, not instantly, but over time begin to regain that trust with our local community. We're also looking for the way that the overall cEDH community will continue to grow and improve and become the best version of ourselves.
Yeah, and we take the responsibility of being kind of I don't know, mouthpieces for the format or whatever. I don't know how you want to describe us, but we take that responsibility really seriously, and we're going to continue to do that. So hopefully we could do the right thing moving forward and, continue to earn y'all's trust in the content that we create. So
yeah, agreed.
Anyway, speaking about tournaments, there's been some crazy shit winning tournaments recently.
Wait, really?
Or at least top cutting tournaments recently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we had, I think we already talked about the fact that we had 2 Lumras at Rumble.
Yeah, which I think Aaron Greiner is one of those Lumra players.
Yeah. I think he ranked 28th or something. it's been fascinating talking to this guy. He literally is, you can talk to him and he'll straight up tell you, my goal for this year is to go to the Invitational with Lumra.
Oh my God.
And he has been doing a great job.
Yeah, that's...
Bro, he's probably already there. He just won a 62 player. He top cut at... That's crazy.
So, yeah, Eric, as like our local Lumra player, like what are your thoughts on where the deck is placed right now then?
I like it, especially for pilots like Aaron. Because like me and him like stayed in the same hotel room for Fishbowl.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Like
what
straight
the
up.
Fuck?
Me and him were chatting about Lumra for like an hour and then went to bed and then just woke up and went to play the tournament.
That's so awesome.
No, I think that like I think it's like really, really fun. I think Lands continues to get really, really strong. But also I really appreciate specifically this player's like commitment to the deck itself, because I think like you don't just accidentally get like 1,000 games on a deck like overnight. And while I had tons and tons of fun playing Lumra, there were obstacles I ran into in tournaments that I, as a player, had enough difficulty navigating around that it pursued me to want to play more meta decks, like, you know, like Blue Farm or Roxai or Kinnan, to try and develop in those ways. And I do have great appreciation for a player who's like, no, fuck that. I'm going to improve on this deck. You know, it's going to be Arkham Daxon, you know, or it's going to be Tayam or it's going to be Lumra. And I think there's always like, I don't know. I just love like, I just love someone who's like, I'm only playing this deck and this deck forever.
Yeah.
Bro, what are these 53 players doing letting Magda win?
Dude, what the fuck, bro? Also, hold on. What's going to be crazy is Lumra might get really good in like 5 days.
Bro, if Lumra
I already have a copy of Primetime. I don't have a copy of JLo. I never picked one up.
Oh, nice. I want to shout out.
It was interesting. So usually, kind of a sneak behind the curtain. Usually, what I'll do is I'll go to EDH top 16. I'll go to tournaments. I'll sort by players, look at the bigger ones, and then I'll see if there's like one tournament that had like an interesting, like a commander win. Like there was that one Selesnya commander that came in top 4 at like a 120 person tournament a few weeks ago. But every single top 16 just had the wildest combination of stuff. Yeah, we got Stoli. And
why is Niall winning with random shit like this?
Fucking Niall winning a deck, or like getting top 4 on Jaws is insane.
Yeah, after dunking on Rumble on Tim Nahoana, man's not tired, so he's like, I'm gonna go play Jaws, I guess.
Crazy.
Yeah, like how cool is that?
Dude, I mean, this top 4 in general is
look
sick.
at this deck list for me. What the fuck does this thing even do?
Okay, so Jaws is 3 generic, 2 red, trample haste 5/5. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create that many blood tokens. Whenever a non-creature artifact is sacrificed or destroyed, Jaws deals 1 damage to each opponent.
Okay.
So it must be like infinite treasure loops somehow?
No. This has got to be a welder deck, right? Like it's got to be like it's just milling for welder.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you've got welder.
And then it puts in some insane artifacts.
Yeah, let's go to artifacts.
Yep, there it is.
Yep. Oh, we've got KCI. Okay, so
yeah.
KCI loop, I'm guessing, wins somehow.
Yeah, it looks like that's because all the other ones are like the kind of weird sound effects you get, like Conqueror's Flail. I love that Embercleave in the Year of Our Lord made up for.
Well, equipped creature gets, so it's just a 12/12 Jaws coming at you.
Yeah.
And that makes 12 blood tokens.
So I'm assuming,
and then you sack those to KCI.
Yeah.
It deal 24 more damage, make 48 Jesus.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. I mean, like, that's dope. It's like they're like basically running like the pirate like cat combo, but without pirates.
And then you've got Helm for just multi-Jaws.
Yeah, there's also dope. Like there's a Goto in the 99. I don't know if you guys saw.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yep, that makes sense.
And then you've also got Ojer for kind of like if you're just looking to like kind of do like the Zyrus thing of like, I just got enough like tokens into play that you guys die via like a Hedron or Reckless Fire River, as well as that's a good card, Inti in the top right. Rose was a card that I looked at for like 5 seconds in Tim Nadargo. So if you ever want to slot it in, Jordan, I have a Japanese promo.
What I really need to know is if Niall won a game off the Knuckles upkeep trigger. That's all I care about.
How many extra turn spells are they on? That'll tell you.
The
Oh,
other
sure.
The other
I think
question
just
that
one.
I would like to say is, how many times do you think he just like played Blood Moon and said, "You guys can all die now"?
Are they on Blood Moon? Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my, and Stranglehold. That's actually kind of sick.
Yeah, that's a Trog staple, dude.
That's fun.
Treasure
Yeah, I guess make sure you
Vault.
don't try to cast it for 0.
Yeah, crazy deck.
That's awesome.
There's also just the top 4 in general, right? Like Obnick's taking it down, Akiri Thras, Anala, Taval, the balanced scale.
I really like that. I really
Yeah.
like Taval as a deck.
Yep.
I think
Is
it's
this the
really
Delve? No, this
interesting.
is the Mill one. I
Yeah.
played this in casual quite a bit.
Sultai Mill just has like a special place in my heart, but it's
Yep.
just not really CEDH viable in general.
Yep. I mean,
But
dude,
apparently it is. Like, I don't know.
people, I mean, 2 wins and a draw, right? Like,
Yep.
there's also, I mean, we mentioned already, Sam took down another event on Rogthras. He didn't drop a game.
Yeah. Dude, I also a big fan of this person named Rodney J. Rodney J.
Yappy.
Dude. Yappy, bro? How are you gonna have that in your last name and not be a fucking GOAT CDH player?
Wait, why? What is Garth One Eye?
Oh, that makes Black Lotuses.
That is actually true.
Yeah, it is actually true. It does make Black Lotuses.
Sure,
I just love that this person looked at Jan Jensen and they're like, no, too good. I can go further.
Something I've really been enjoying, speaking of weird stuff, is seeing Cobblepot's brews in our deck list channel. I don't know if you guys just saw the discard advantage one that he posted. It's
no,
bro. We'll just take a small detour.
Dude,
it's so stupid.
I played a game against Cobblepot on the league 2 days ago, somewhat recently, and he was playing Akiri Thras.
Yeah.
No, Bruce Thras, right?
Yeah.
And it played a Tiller engine, and I was like, oh, I don't know why that's in the deck, but we're dead.
That's not good.
Yeah, I was like, we can't. No. And then I had to I was just like, all right, I'm jamming on my turn because there's no way we're getting another one.
Bro, cEDH All-Star unsubstantiate.
Nice,
Let's go.
Nice.
But yeah, this Oscar discard stuff. So whenever you discard a card, you can cast it from your graveyard.
Okay.
And so it just has a bunch of discard outlets, and then I guess discounters for those.
This is Sans Black, Sans Red Goblin.
That's so funny.
With Grand. It's crazy.
Let's guess.
People are brewing crazy stuff. We've got Jason's belief of the best Malcolm deck, Malcolm Kedis winning an event. Oswald in third is crazy.
Oswald is crazy.
Timna Kodama, also crazy.
That's a stacks deck most of the time.
Traditionally, yeah. Trad Kodama Timna.
I don't know. I feel like the meta feels incredible right now to me.
Agree.
So just excited to see what people continue to do.
I always try to take note whenever I see a week like this where there's no real tournament that stands out amongst the others because they all have these crazy top 16s. Yeah. That's so funny. Is that the kind of Draco Genesis one that Comedian put together a few months back? Yeah. It looks like they're doing Food Chain. Okay, yeah, they got the Dragon line with the Dragon of the Frost.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah, this is kind of it's similar to a Sign of the Ur Dragon where you're essentially just playing 5 colors plus an extra 9 or 10 cards just for the fun.
Plus Draco Genesis. Hell yeah, bro.
Wild.
And then you can Academy Rector into it traditionally when people do this.
Oh, yep, sure.
Okay.
It's just so cool that I think that it's so fun because I'm in an era right now where I was playing Rogthras for the last 2 months and I told myself I was only going to stop playing it to play Kinnan or Rogside. And Logan convinced me to add Blue Farm to that list, but I'm still kind of keeping within that domain of meta decks. And I'm moving there because I specifically just want to like improve on like some very, very nitty gritty aspects of cEDH. And so I need other people to have done the brewing for me. I need the commanders to be doing the work for me so I can show up and just realize how bad I am at cEDH and focus on wanting to focus on. But it's still cool to see that in the rest of the format, there's still so much opportunity for brewing. And that if you have a particular passion for a deck, you can just spend enough hours on mulligan.eldrazi.dev and you can get there. You can like,
yeah.
You do got to get lucky. I think to win tournaments, you got to be good and you got to be lucky. But you can do both in mono white on Oswald of Fingerbinger.
Yeah. Can you actually click that link right there?
I was gonna say Ral actually won a tournament.
Well, so I'm like 95% sure that this is the best Ral pilot in our country. It's Blakey. I don't know if you've met him.
No.
But I met him out in Georgia, and then he was also at Rumble. I actually played him at Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, didn't realize who it was, and got cooked by him.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Ral is a deck that I am terrified of. 0 losses on Ral is fucking wild, though.
Is that Holden? Is that Holden Pryo? Is that his name?
No, that's not Holden. No.
That's a different guy? Okay.
It's a different guy, yeah.
It's swords a Ral's Bergie yesterday, and we bounced the Ral, and we still died.
Wow.
Like, I think that deck is solved to the point that the only variable left is pilot skill, and people are getting good enough at the deck that you cannot give it an inch. You will die.
Yep. It's I do think that it is the fastest deck in our format.
Yep.
I mean, Rogsai is up there too, but I think like its turn to push is like 100% of the time.
It's the difference is you can't high roll really the turn 1 Ral push like Rogsai sometimes can, but it will push on turn 2, like period.
Yeah, and hard.
Yeah. Not like a gentle fart in the wind.
No,
like
it's like, oh no,
you're gonna
be
die.
prepared to die.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so interesting as well because like you speak of it being like a solved list. I feel like the only other time I've heard of like that being discussed is with like Inala, because you've got lists like like Spellstorm, like Rocksai or Blue Farm, which they feel homogenous. But if you start looking at top 16s, there's a solid like 8 to 9 cards getting swapped out, like between every single pilot. And so it's fascinating that like, was the colors that like, solved it first?
And maybe solved isn't like quite the right way to describe it, but it's like the spells themselves don't matter.
Except for the rituals.
Except for the rituals. Counter the rituals, bro. You cannot let them have a Bergie. You cannot let them have any sort of ritual.
Yeah, and specifically J-Will. Like, they are not allowed to have a J-Will.
Nope.
What about a J-Lo?
Hey,
J-Lo
oh God.
It's going to make Ral a little bit better, but...
a little bit, because then...
Wait, their turn 1 push might be gas with a J-Lo, actually.
Yeah, because they just J-Lo for Ral instead of tapping out.
And then they have 1 mana for push, and sometimes that's enough.
They're going to go down a land. They're really just going to cut a land for J-Lo.
I can see it. 100%.
Go to like 16 lands or whatever they're on. Also, shameless plug. I got the opportunity to talk to Joey about his run at Breach the Bay. That's already on the channel. But if you want to go listen to me talk to someone who can actually play Tim Nadargo well, even though I just like the deck, Joey's awesome.
Yeah.
And was
also, shout out Joey. He's going to be doing altars for the league this month. He doesn't really have like a page set up or anything like that, but we'll get his Discord link. And you guys can reach out to him if you like his altars.
Yep. I think anything else from tournaments you guys want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Are they becoming the ESPN of cEDH? I guess this was it about basics? I don't know who this was about.
Yeah, so this is a video an episode on YouTube that one of our local channels just started. Is Everyone is Bad at Magic. It is Roy and Thomas, and they are just starting out, and they had a few people on talking to basics about being the ESPN of Magic, and them like the idea of it, and like the comment section in this Reddit post is nonsense, but I digress, is talking to them about like, hey, why are you guys trying to earn, like, what are you guys trying to do to make casting something that you guys are known for? Because right now Basics is putting a lot of their energy into becoming the best casting team in our format. They're really trying to up the quality of it, and if you go check out the Niagara Falls event coverage. That was them. And they also did the coverage for the Invitational. But they're really trying to do a lot better than what has been traditionally perceived as like what our coverage should be. They're dressing up in suits and they're pulling up cards. They're also having Pigeon and Hire as like the main people doing the commentary. And these people are incredibly knowledgeable about I know from what I understand, Eric might be casting with them at cEDH.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be me and Hire. I'm gonna have to bust out my wedding suit.
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be so sick to watch. So
bring
look forward to
earplugs.
that. But I think it's really cool that Basics is like carving out their like niche in the community as being the casting team, because I think they're really good at it.
Yeah. Also just like our local scene for both players and content now is crazy, right? Like the FOCO guys are putting together a channel. We've got this one, we've got Basics, we've got us. Like it's just,
We're all addicted.
What it is. Yeah,
we're all
100%.
addicted. Like that's what it is we're all addicted to playing cEDH.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the FOCO guys channel, I think it's called Squandered Resources.
Yeah. I don't know if it's out yet.
I just know every single week I see one of those SQR tags in the top 4 at our locals.
Let's see. I don't know if it is or not yet either. No, it's just talking about the actual card.
Okay.
So we'll let you guys know when their first thing comes out, because we want to definitely continue to support local there as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, another thing that I did want to talk about, just like local stuff, is we have a local sleeve vendor. I forget what they're called.
Sentry.
Sentry sleeves.
Yeah, I have my box right here.
A few of us got to use them a little bit at tournaments the last like few weeks. They're really good. They're produced in the old Dragon Shield factory.
Oh no way.
But I would not be surprised if you start seeing them on shelves kind of everywhere, because they sold locally and they sold out of their stock already. Yep. Because basically everyone here likes them. So
they're awesome. Like, I mean, not that you're gonna be able to like tell off of this, but like
they feel good.
They feel really good. I'm actually re-sleeving TNT in them probably after we record tonight.
TNT?
So I can get...
What?
Yeah, bro. I know, bro. I'm like, I can't stop changing decks. I'm like addicted to jorking it now. That's all I can do.
Yeah, you're either jorking it with us or jorking it against us. So you got.
Well, good God.
If you like jorking it, dude, I have the deck for you.
Yeah. Austin's a Helga main now. He only plays frogs. I think we wanted to talk about. This is where you can put money on black for next week's episode and see if we were right or not.
And black means Grizzlebrand, dude. Put money on black.
If you go to our Discord, literally every single day right now, people are arguing about what will be banned, what will be unbanned, what's not getting banned, etc., etc. And I know Hire is just there laughing at all of us like the lesser mortals that we are.
His rage bait today was so funny. Dude.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, it's just it's like a reel on Instagram where he's just like sipping tea with a post that says band announcement, and it's Thoracle behind him. And I'm like, there's no way, bro. Come on.
That's so funny, dude. Obviously Austin wants Gristle Daddy. I've seen some people calling for Hole Breacher, which I think is insane.
I think it's like, okay, I have like 3 tiers of like, okay, I think this is going to get unbanned. I want this to get unbanned. There's a very, 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 very small chance that this gets unbanned or looked at.
Yep.
And I think like Hole Breacher is like the third option. Like I don't think Hole Breacher is like completely off the table forever. But I don't think it's happening this time.
Yeah, I think like some of these are just dead forever, right? Like we can't give Paradox Engine back. We can't bring Nadu back.
I think Paradox Engine could come back. Don't get me wrong, I don't want it back, but I do think it could. I think that the format has evolved enough that Paradox Engine would not see play that much.
Yeah, fair enough.
But the problem is that in like casual, it'd still be a problem.
Yeah. I think it would no longer be like cEDH viable, but I do think that it would still, in the most popular, at least what I believe is the most popular Magic format, in terms of like numbers, it definitely decreases the quality of like the play experience and the lived experience of players. So yeah, if we're talking about like if we want to imagine cards being unbanned in the ecosystem of like us talking about what cards people are running in the top 4, there's a lot from this list that I think could be removed. But also, I think that in terms of size, while cEDH continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger, WotC isn't printing products to cEDH; they're printing them to Commander, and then they move from Commander kind of into cEDH. I know I'm speaking of them as kind of like separate entities, but the larger card pool of like things that are hit by like game changers and non-game changers is way, way, way bigger than any potential card pool you'll see on a typical like FNM of like cEDH players.
Yeah, I'm completely agree. Actually, between us three, like looking at this list, what do you think is coming off this list? Like, what do you think? Like, give me like 3 or 4, I guess, of like, hey, this is what I think is going to, this is what I want, and then this is like maybe possibly acceptable, but really scary.
Yeah, I think we're getting JLo back.
I think JLo's like I'm confident that we're getting JLo back.
Which I'm really excited about. I think it revives decks that people were considered dead, and it like doesn't help the best decks that much, and it helps other decks a lot. I think that I'm pretty indifferent about Crypt. I'm fine if we get it back.
I don't want Crypt back.
I play Tim Nadargo a lot more if we get JLo and Crypt back. I'll tell you that much.
That makes
Dude,
sense.
with the 0 mana soul artifact, you could play everything a lot more.
Yeah, true.
But it does contribute. I think Mana Crypt does contribute to the homogenization of decks at a faster rate than Jeweled Lotus does.
Yeah, I agree.
Not to say that that's automatically like bad, just saying that if you are ranking things in terms of like as soon as it becomes printed, it instantly becomes mandatory in every deck. Of the consequence of that card being in every deck is going to be very different. So yeah, I think Jeweled Lotus. I would like, at the very least, I'd like to see Jeweled Lotus unbanned. I think the ones that you see get talked about the most as being like they're not like Chaos Orb level of like dexterity checks, as well as they're not like Mox Ruby in terms of power, is I feel like Golos gets talked about because when it got banned, it was earlier on in Commander's life cycle when there were less options, so it was kind of like the defunct like 5-color Commander. And I think that if we're in a world where people can play Garth instead of like Essica, then they're allowed to have Golos back. I also think Leovold is something that gets talked about a lot in these conversations.
I think Leovold could come back.
I could totally see it being unbanned, as well as like Raphaelos or Primetime. I think I'd put in using that kind of like hierarchy that you brought up, Austin. I'd put those in like tier 2, where I think they, from a power level, I think they definitely could be unbanned. But also I have a difficult time judging the popularity of that, because those are just cards that I really want, and I think it'd be fun to have.
What my problem with like the Raphaelos unban is I don't think there's incentive for Wizards to actually do it because they can't print it.
Yeah, completely agree.
I have seen some people trying to argue that Tolarian Academy did nothing wrong. That card can never see the light of day.
No.
Ever.
Dude, get the fuck out of here. Like, don't get me wrong, I want it.
Yep.
That card can never come back to this format. Like, especially with how many treasure like token rectangle generators we have. No.
Yep.
Absolutely not. You think Cradle's bad? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Actually true. I saw someone today speculating that they think Library's coming off.
I could see Library coming off. I think it would be cool to come off, but again, I'm in the same spot with Raphaelos where like they can't print it again.
Sure.
So I just don't think there's incentive to see it. Realistically, I think it's just like J-Lone. I could see, like, I'm like 50-50 on Primetime. My like outside shot is I think Upheaval could come off. I think that'd be like perfectly fine.
I actually don't know what that card does.
It's a 6 mana sorcery that bounces all permanents.
Oh, that's probably fine.
So the reason why Upheaval got banned was because people would like float a bunch of mana with their rocks, Upheaval, and then redevelop before people could do anything about it.
Yeah.
And so, like, I just don't think that's a play pattern that could still work, like, so I think I'd be fine with it. I also low-key think Bargain could come off. Like, Necropotence is already a fucked up Magic card. Bargain is fine. Like, when I say fine, I don't mean fine. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Bargain is a fucked up Magic card in the equal, like, playing field as other fucked up Magic cards.
Yep. I think one of my favorite things to do in Tim Nadargo is assemble this at home with Yawgmoth and Relic.
Oh yeah.
It's just like way more complicated, but you can do it.
Yeah.
And I think that this card, it's 6 mana. Like,
yeah.
It should do something broken. It's fine.
Yeah. It's also like I don't think it's gonna see play in casual. Like the only decks that like people would put it in is like Rector decks or Academy or not Rector, the white one.
Academy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it Rector or?
Yeah, it's Academy Rector.
Okay. Yeah, like Rector decks would play it. I think that's fine. But like
Crick
they can
probably
already go
plays
against
it.
Citadel, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
fine. I also think that Prophet of Krufix could come back. I don't necessarily know if I want it, but I think that Prophet could come back. It's a little scary for sure, but it's fine.
Untap. Oh,
It's Seedborn Muse, but a little bit better.
it's Seedborn plus Creature Flash, but doesn't untap your rocks, I guess, which is like
Yeah.
Sure.
I
Interesting.
think it could come back. I don't know if it's going to, but I think it could. But do you guys think? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say my expectation is I think I felt this way about the previous banning and unbanning. I think I feel pretty similar about this one, where I think we'll see some kind of like almost like non-functional unbans, like
Biorhythm,
like Sway the Stars. I think got unbanned last time,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
As well as some cards, for instance, like Gifts Ungiven. There are people who are saying like, "Oh, watch out about Gifts Ungiven!" Like, "Oh, it's going to be really strong," and it joins the cacophony of cards that's really good in 2 or 3 colored piles that aren't able to assemble Breach as quickly as Blue Farm without it. And so I don't know what that card would be, but I think that's why I feel good about like Leovold or cards of like that level. Is I would see those as being unbanned along with like what's another card on here that like kind of doesn't matter anymore.
I mean, most of this ban list, I think, is like, unban trade secrets, dude. Don't do that, please. Don't do that.
Just make Shahrazad a game changer because.
Yeah.
But
Look, dude. Okay, here's my hot take. If Tanker was not a blue card, I think you could unban it right now. But the problem is that blue is just too fucking good.
I think that's.
But like realistically, like the only thing it goes and gets is Bolas of Citadel, which don't get me wrong, very insane card. But I think like the legit only problem with this card is that it's blue.
Yeah,
give it to red. Red needs it.
Like the fact that like we don't have a time vault in this format like makes Tinker okay in my opinion, which is insane.
It's if it weren't blue, I think it's
yeah. I like that. I like that take. Yeah, they won't unban any cards. They'll just change the color identity of them. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Speaking of this announcement, do you guys expect anything to go away?
I don't think Thoracle or Study are going.
I
think they could, but I don't think they're going.
I think Study has a better chance of getting banned than Thoracle right now, which is crazy to me, but I don't expect either one of them, but I do think that Study is higher on the chopping block than Thoracle. And now at this point, I actually think OBM is higher up on the chopping block than Thoracle.
I think OBM is the most likely card to get banned, actually.
My thing that I don't think it's going to happen because they didn't put it on the watch list yet.
I think by default it is by being a game changer.
Oh, really?
I think that's how that works.
Well, so like the reason why I've like they specifically brought up Rhystic Study and Thoracle as cards on the watch list to get banned.
But they're also already game changers. So the statement they've made in the past, I think, is that you can't, unless they like print something unbelievably egregious, it has to go on game changer first before it can get banned.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't expect anything to go, really, though.
Yep.
Like,
I'll
be sad if Rhystic goes, though.
Same.
If Rhystic goes, dude, the format changes so fucking much.
I think it gets worse, like significantly.
Yeah, dude. The turbo ROG size, bro.
Necropotent
stocks are through the roof.
Yes. Yeah, people are talking about like Tymna or ROG getting banned, and I think partners, if they ever were to get banned, would be talked about a very long time in advance.
So my thing with Tymna, and I don't think Tymna should get banned, but if this was any other format, I do think that Tymna would be banned because of like its supremacy at the top for so long. Oh, I think we lost.
I think Eric. We did. I think he said going into this that he was going to have to leave at 8. Oh, we got him.
Wait, dude, we got a camera, Eric? Whoa.
No.
Whoa.
My faceless self had to go away at 8.
Yeah.
But going back to it, I think like just like Tymna's dominance at the top of the format, like for so long, is the only reason why I think it's even in consideration. Like, but other than that, I don't think it should ever see an actual ban.
Agreed.
I also I would push back a little bit in terms of like the Tymna supremacy. I think it's difficult for us to crunch the numbers because no other format really utilizes partner. As well as the fact of like, I think in terms of like the overall meta share, aren't Tymna decks somewhere in the ballpark of like 15% of the meta, right?
So when I'm saying supremacy, I meant like she has been in the zone as one of the best decks in the format since the creation of Tymna. Until I guess right now, in some people's estimation.
Yep. Yeah, I think Kinnon's better than Farm, if that's. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm really excited for next week, primarily just because I kind of want to be done talking about bans for a while. I find the conversation like kind of annoying.
Yeah. What I do, okay, this is also now a super outside shot, and I don't think this is going to happen, but give me Fast Bond. I want Fast Bond. In a format that runs not that many lands, give me Fast Bond. This is a fucked up Magic card that should never see the light of day.
Yeah, no.
But let me have it.
Lumra 2 desires this card. I imagine.
Wait, what?
This card begs for Heartwood Storyteller.
Oh, true.
We always forget to answer questions, so I'm pulling up this tab before we forget. If I can
Eric, you can jump on out of here whenever you need to.
Okay, I'll go through questions first.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, let me.
I'll have to spoiling a later portion. We're going to talk about Convoke. I'm 100% going to have to watch back this episode to see about it.
We can also do that first if you'd rather be on.
No. Let's do questions.
Cool.
And then I'll add the Convoke part to the list of videos of you I'm going to watch at work tomorrow, Jordan.
We have a couple of older ones that are much longer than I think we have time for because we're already almost at 2 hours. But it's up to you guys if you want to start there or not.
Yeah. Let's pick let's do one or two, and then even if it's like a bigger one, we can kind of distill it down to like maybe like a question involved with the larger discussion.
Yeah, I think that's great. Chris and myself asked the same question, and also Elias asked it, and I like Elias's wording the best. How to convert from Top Cut to Finals, no Borax, no glue.
So I make Top Cut so consistently and do not convert them to wins ever, which feels really frustrating. This is my current thing that I'm working on, is like trying to be able to win against the best players in our region realistically, like every week. And I think it just takes practice. I also think that a lot of Top Cut games, like the advantages of seed order is so apparent that like you don't get the mistakes that happen in Swiss sometimes, and you don't get like some of those advantages of someone misplaying when you're in lower seed order. So I think like my big focus is really trying to work on my Swiss game so that I get as many advantages in those Top Cut games as I can possibly make.
Yeah,
I think that's a great perspective.
Yeah.
I would be curious to know like how significant the seed order disparity is versus Top Cut versus Swiss.
Yeah, Data Talk, get on that.
It just feels incredibly like when you're playing against one of our really good players in the region and they're in first seat versus like third seat, you just feel so far behind them so many times. At least that's like my perspective at this point right now. So yeah, I'm just trying to work on winning more games realistically.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good piece of advice. Yeah, because I feel like cEDH in general is like a relatively fast format. That's why like we like it. And I feel like it speeds up in the sense that like you really need to have like a really solid board state together by like turn 2 these days, I feel like. But something I'm noticing about this question is, is Jordan asked it, Chris asked it, Eli asked it. For those who haven't played against all these players in person, I respect all of these players. And I think there's many, many attributes that they all have that are way better than I would be in those areas. And so all of these are players I would expect to see in a top cut or a top 4 pod. If I was, driving home from like work and, Jordan like messages to the group chat that, he won like the Friday local. I'm not going to be like, how did that happen? I think these are all players who have the capacity to play some of the highest quality Magic. And so that's why, I would really, really agree with what you're saying, Austin. I would look at the overall structure of tournaments and potentially just try to like fight harder and harder for wins to make it so that you're in the second seat instead of third. Another one that I've been trying to get better at is realizing that you do have to play differently in Swiss than you do Top Cut, than you do Top 4. And I think so far, what I've learned from playing in top 4 pods is I feel like in top 16, some advice I heard from other players is, in Swiss, you're trying to get out of Swiss. In Top Cut, you're trying not to lose. And in top 4, you're trying to win. Yeah. And obviously you want to be doing all those things simultaneously at the same time. But I've really begun to feel in top 4 that I feel like I either want to be, I need to have a win attempt with protection in hand, or I need to have enough resources to instantly be the second person to make a win attempt. Because if I do anything other than those two, I'm just watching someone else walk away with my store credit.
True.
Yep. Yeah, I think something too that and I love Elias has changed their name on our Discord to Captain ID support for intentional draws. And Swiss to Top Cut, you need to know how to win the game. You also need to know how to draw games that are unwinnable. So you at least walk away with a point. And in Top Cut, you have to actually fucking win the game, which is different. And I'm I don't know. If our locals more consistently cut to top 10 instead of top 4, I would make it almost every week now, but I don't make top 4 all that regularly yet. So I'm not the right person to ask.
Dude,
but
making top 4 in our locals right now is relatively hard.
Yeah, dude, because it's
right now on Friday, you have to have 10 points. You need to win 2 of your 3 games on Friday.
Yep.
And then on Saturdays, dude, okay, on this Saturday, I had 11 points and I was seat 4.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, and I was just what?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and it's that's, yeah, but
you're also your Swiss is sometimes your pod is just randomly Jason Logan Jax.
Yeah.
And it's cool, bro. This is gonna be fun. Can we
just get a point here?
Yep, please God.
Something as well is, have you guys ever done the painting with a twist or paint and steps kind of stuff where you go and they show you how to paint a picture of the Denver skyline or something, and you get to pay a lot for wine.
Yeah. Wait, if you look at my girlfriend's art right there, all of this is paint and sip stuff.
That's so fun. We've got one that Sarah did up in our house somewhere. And I also was there, but I think I threw it away when we moved because she's just so much of a better artist than I am. Yeah, but something was really, really fascinating to me. And I hadn't even started drinking my beer yet, so I was stone cold sober when she was talking about this. But it was a Starry Night, but Denver version. And so the instructor was telling us to kind of paint the horizon. And they're like, you're going to start on the right, and you're going to draw a big line all the way to the left. And it needs to be as straight as possible. And this is going to anchor the rest of this evening. And she's like, don't worry, it's 100% a confident stroke, but whether you do it right or wrong, you just got to get past it to get to the rest of the painting. And I really, really feel that same feeling sometimes when I'm mulliganing in Top Cut or in Top 4 of how do I, with my shaky ass hands, draw a straight line in one attempt that I'm not going to get to change, and I may just be wasting a lot of money here. And I'm starting to realize that there's just a pressure in Top 4 that does not exist in other domains of Magic for me. And based off the social nature of it as well, there's also a degree of reputation and ego that is also more on the line than personally I want it to be, but also just accepting that people's perspective of me matters to me. And so that's also something that comes to mind when it comes to these conversations, is how is it that I can more confidently begin to paint the picture of how I'm going to win this top 4 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, it's straight up it does not help us winning tournaments that Jason is in, right? There is a reason why he's rank 4 or 5 at this point.
He's 2 now, dude.
He's 2 now. like there's a reason that exists, in
And
my opinion, right?
Realistically, he's one, because I think one is still Sternberg right now on
Oh
Evo.
yeah, so one doesn't exist. Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I don't know. Like the answer is more practice, in my opinion. Like it's more practice. It's more practice in those games specifically.
Something I think we should start doing in practice, and I learned this when I used to draft in Enchanted Grounds, and then it was reiterated for me also at Land Go right after I met up with Sky. Me, Logan, Hane, and Min started playing Magic, and Min went and just bought 3 random draft boosters and put them in the center of the table, and he's like, "Well, just whoever wins gets to pick one, and then that's just how we'll keep track." He's like, it's like $10 to put some stakes on the game. And
Yeah.
I have never played a for fun game more seriously in my life than when there was a Wilds of Eldraine play booster. And the same thing happened to me last night because I went to the Blade Club event up north and Levi brought out some promo packs. And I oftentimes struggle focusing and staying dialed in for the length of like a cEDH game in the same way that I struggle to pay attention to movies all the way through because they're the same amount of time. And so I'm just trying to find little ways like that of adjusting the training environment to help keep the level of tension and competition present without ways that are taxing to like my psyche or my ability to play at like a high level so that I can acclimatize and become more accustomed to that like I have no other option but to win here. And I will mulligan down to 1 and lose this game before it even starts, if that's what it takes, without being under so much pressure that I faint from exhaustion as soon as like rounds fire. And I think just finding little fun ways like that can also help.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. I don't want to be like picky and choosy. Let's do this one. It's next. Looking at the meta right now, would you all say it's diverse enough at the moment that we will see even more land combo decks winning in Swiss and Top Cut?
My personal opinion on this is that lands combo decks are very, very cool and interesting, and in certain metas, they are incredible. Like if you were playing in these like mid-range slot metas, like it is a very good mid-range breaker. But I do think that right now there was a few months there where we were seeing a lot of Lumra, mainly because of Eric playing it, and like you do kind of learn that they're a little bit more interactable than they're first perceived as. And it's not that I don't think that those are combos that I don't think like can win cEDH games. Obviously, that's still the truth. We just saw Lumras do very well in tournaments and they started doing really well in Rumble. But I do think they kind of prey upon people that don't know how to interact with the deck at all. Specifically Lumra combos, I think are a lot more interactable. I think the scary one is if someone breaks Aftermath Analyst combos in a very consistent manner, because that combo is a lot harder to deal with sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. I think having played like Lumra a bunch, but also Lumra in like the 99, I think Lance is fun. I think it's interesting. But I do think it's probably closer to like Inala than it is to like Farm. You have very specific lines that you're going for, and while there's improvisational elements present, or maybe it's closer to like Necropotence, where it's like you cannot play the game, in Lumra unless you have like an untapper. Or in neck, if you're neck growing and you want to win right then, you have to get Dieflight Caller, you have to get, Final Fortune, or you have to get Born Upon Win. Shout out to Logan, to Jason's Necrophone's video. Go watch it.
Yeah. By the way, it's incredible. Definitely go watch it.
It's so good. It's so good. But the gates you have to walk through are also have elements of card quality stapled to them. Valley Flood Caller is a phenomenal card. Born Upon a Win, phenomenal card. Amulet of Vigor, phenomenal card. It does require more non-traditional cEDH cards to really shine, though. I think Logan's Kodama Thrasios list is a great example of how like lands can be this like strong value engines, or Abora Breeze Callers for me is another great example of like relatively meta decks can staple most of their value to lands and be phenomenally capable at navigating. We were just talking about how you navigate from like top cut to top 4. And I think lands can do that really, really well, but I do think it needs to be a little bit faster. And some of those value pieces need to be a little bit closer to like a Ristic Study. I think that Ice Still is a great example of a card of we need to see like a few more of those before I think that we're going to see like Aftermath combos be as threatening and as consistent as like Breach or like, like Food Chain or Birthing Pod lines.
Yeah. I will also say, like, I wouldn't discount the idea of lands combos so hard, because Wizards is consistently printing very good cards for that for that deck, right?
Yep. They like it. They like it a lot.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, like, we are a fastball and unban away from some of these decks just actually being real. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's possible.
Yeah, my expectation is I think that, like, we get, like, another Wandering Minstrel, right? We get another Horizon Explorer or things like that. And I would not be surprised if within, like, a year or two, lands is considered one of the core archetypes of cEDH. And I think part of it is just like you said, WotC seems very interested in printing it. And my suspicion is because it gets all the Eternal formats interested because they're able to print to an archetype lands, and it hits all the, like, the crazy powerful stuff on the reserved list that, like, no ban servers plays. But it's also not going to mess up with, like, the casual or the standard or the pioneer ecosystem too much. I see lands as kind of like being able to literally bridge the gap between these two worlds. And so I would definitely expect to see more lands enablers than we see, like, flash enablers in, like, the next like 3 or 4 sets, or the more, or more than, like, silence effects.
Dude, you say that and I, like, immediately agreed with you, but I do think that I don't think a Flash legend that gives everything Flash is off the table anytime soon. Yeah. I do think that that's going to exist sometime soon.
Yeah, it does. It's called Tidal Barracuda, bro.
From the zone.
After it becomes your ring bearer. After it becomes your ring bearer. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. I do agree with you that I think that lands is, like, pretty guaranteed to be something in our format for the long run. But yeah.
I mean, dude, just look at, like, Badger Molt Cub. Like, there are so many combos now that didn't exist before that card that very much exist now because of a stupid 2-drop Badger thing.
Yep, exactly. And, like, again, it keeps getting pieces. Like, I Still Explorer is insane in the lands deck. So
All right, let's do one more question, and then I got a jet to give my cat medication he really doesn't want.
Cool. Just because he DM'd me about it earlier, I'm going to pick favorites. Chris asked us, how quickly should he move on from a strategy if it's not working for you? Example of turbo, mid-range stacks, lands, etc.
That's so fascinating. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, Justin, because Jordan, sorry, because I combined the J name with Austin, reminding me of when Logan messaged our group chat. He's like, guys, Austin is one letter away from Justin. Jordan, because me and you have talked about this. I think we both find it really, really difficult. I don't think our problem is learn to move on. I think we struggle with like staying on a deck for more than, like, you know, a cycle of the moon. And so what generates that for you? Is it kind of like a sense of, like, this just doesn't feel good, it's not working, that kind of causes you to, like, move from list to list to list? Like, what's that like for you?
I'm more intrigued by things I don't understand. And so I get pulled into playing things that I either have lost to, or, like, employs a combo that I think is cool, or any of those kinds of things. And then now I'm on, like, kind of a stretch of Cradle decks. And I was actually talking to Graham about this yesterday. And he's like, TNT is honestly kind of a natural conclusion to what you've been doing.
Yep.
Because you went from Grixis to Mardu Turbo to Farm to Rogthrast. Like, it just kind of makes sense. And I'm really enjoying that archetype. But it's interesting. I bang my head against the wall way harder when it's not working for me. Like, Tin and Dargo, I did not have a lot of success on, but I played it for longer than I played anything else.
Yeah.
Because I think there's, like, chasing that satisfaction that comes with making it work that is more rewarding than when you pick up a deck that feels very intuitive and you just start winning games. It's like, I don't know, whatever. Like, I don't, me. But I think it just depends on, it's a very long-winded way of saying that you should move on for a strategy more, in my opinion, not because it's not working for you, but because it feels bad for you to engage with. If you're having just an amazing time playing a strategy, even if your record's not changing yet, your record will change if you continue to play that deck and enjoy it.
I agree.
If you hate playing a deck, but your record's good, eventually the fact that you hate that deck will make it very difficult for you to convert. I think. So I would go based on feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I just, like, 100% agree. I am also a person that bounces between deck to deck to deck. I'm a brewer at heart, and I really like to tinker with decks quite a bit. But I will say, as someone that is, like, actively trying to just increase the performances that I'm able to put out, like, I constantly try to explore things that I'm not good at. And so right now, like, I am in like a turbo phase of my life, but in reality, like having a mid-range backup, and I like having a deck that can kind of do everything. If we're talking about like something that has felt the most correct to me, and like how I think that is like my best playstyle, I do think that it's like the Cradle deck. But I don't necessarily know if it's able to do what I want to do in the format consistently. I've noticed a lot of times when I'm playing in Swiss that those decks have a hard time winning in the time period allotted and against people that are just like jam mentality, when like those decks like need a lot of reason and thinking. And sometimes in Swiss, like, you just don't have those players that you can talk to. And so I like playing a deck that currently does not do that, but can do that. But how often should you move on from a strategy? I don't know. Once you feel like you've gotten everything that you're looking to get out of playing that deck, right? So I will tell you, like, moving off of a Atraxa didn't feel incredible to me, because I do think that that deck has a lot of legs to it still. But I will tell you straight up, like, the amount of times that I Praetor's Grasped a Breach and I was like, oh wait, this just feels better than anything I can do, is why I got off that deck. Is like, if my plan is to Praetor's Grasp someone else's Breach all the time, I should just play Breach.
Yeah. Then you'll have two of them.
Yeah, exactly. But I do also shout out to all the amazing Atraxa players. There's been some results happening on that deck lately, and I do think that it's all Turbo Atraxa, which is awesome. Because the entire Discord of Atraxa was not on that game plan at all.
Jundargo just top 16 its first like real event.
Fuck yeah.
The 64 player event that Sam won, Jundargo topped cut at, and
hell yeah.
They were playing. There's like a semi-blue variant of Jundargo, and that's what they were playing.
Oh, cool. That's kind of like what we were like talking about when we were designing, right?
Yep. Yeah, it just like vomits out fatties and makes you deal with it.
Does it run that dragon that
Dargo as like the battery for it?
10 life and you untap all your lands? I forget the name of it. It's a Golgari dragon. I think it's like a 7 or an 8.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
I don't remember.
Okay.
Dude, it's a casual staple.
I think something that like...
Oh, it's Bellatrix Weatherbloom. Or Witherbloom.
Yeah, you pronounced semi-blue wrong, Austin.
Yeah.
Something that like I'm hearing you express from the Atraxa thing, and I'm kind of having this experience with Jundargo now, or like any list that we put a lot of reps into, somebody's going to pick up ideas that we have and pilot them better than we could.
Yeah.
But I almost get more satisfaction out of seeing a deck that I care about do well than like me doing well on it, if that makes sense. And that's a really satisfying thing that I'm enjoying right now.
Yeah, I think that's the satisfaction that comes from going down a road that has a destination that you like enjoy. I'm like a big like road trip guy. I love road trips, but I enjoy road trips a lot less if it's like a business trip versus like if you're traveling with friends. Because the idea that like I'm gonna go through this process of being in like a car that's slightly too warm for 12 hours, where we stop for every and we stop for every like 2 hours to get like my favorite snack. Way more if we end up in like Albuquerque. And so speaking of archetypes above just like decks, stacks doesn't super duper vibe with me because I just enjoy high resource games a lot more than low resources. And in general, I far more prefer saying yes than no. And so even if I devoted myself to being a really good stacks player, I don't think I'd be very interested in the destination that I would arrive at. I believe in my capability and my ability to like learn new things. But not only do I not think I'd enjoy it, also looking kind of like at EDH top 16, I don't think it's performing super well right now. I think it's getting better. I think there's some dedicated back players who are doing a really good job. But I think that the fact that I wouldn't enjoy it and the fact that it's not going to do the heavy lifting for me of like in like tournaments of stacks isn't going to accidentally be good in the way that like mid-range often is an indication to me that if I'm playing a list that is kind of more gravitationally or magnetically attracted towards a more stats plan, that I should probably like get on a different train. And as far as like, if we're talking about more traditionally viable things like turbo and mid range, where it feels like they're gonna have perennially always have a place in top cut, even though one may be preferable over to the other. I think I also would kind of very much agree with like Austin. If I am playing an archetype and I get the sense that not only like my intuition, but my gut instinct is always wrong, I can memorize the play patterns to become like capable. I'm going to be able to like play the deck the way it's meant to be played just fine. But the fact that my perspective is not aligned with the direction the deck wants to go means that when I'm in top cut or when I'm goldfishing for the 100th time that week, I'm going to have to be working against the grain every single time. And so that's why, while I so like thematically and narratively enjoy like turbo decks, the idea of them just playing out 100 rocks and agonizing or net growing as fast as possible. I just love watching games like that. I love hearing stories about it. But if I look at the way I play Magic, that is never how I play. I'm always like want to be a problem for next turn. I'm always trying to like, I think, you worded it this way in a group chat we were part of, Jordan. You want to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet before like making a win attempt. And I think that's what feels far more natural to me. And so not only looking at a archetype that is strong in comparison to the others in the rock, paper, scissors of mid-range, but also one that aligns with like my natural proclivities, so that while I'm practicing and while the list is doing some of the heavy lifting for me, I am able to take the next step just a hair faster than the guy next to me, or see what's happening in the board state just one turn before the other players. And that's how you win tournaments. So I would try to balance all of those things.
Yeah,
agreed.
I think that like also just answering this question, it really just depends on like what you're actually trying to work on as a cEDH player, right?
Sure.
Like that, if that is like winning with like low resources through a turbo line, then like play turbo to work on that stuff. If you want to get better at the crazy stack battle that's like inevitable if you come to Denver, then like play mid range and like sit on draw engine. If you want to work on like foresight of like, oh hey, like this is how I think the game is going to play out in the next 1 to 2 turns, then like maybe you should play stacks, because like then you can land a stacks piece to try to stop like what is happening, right? And it really just depends on like what you're trying to work on and playing the archetype that fits the goals that align with it.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
It has to be good for the meta, it has to be good for you, and it has to be good for the list that you're playing.
Yep.
Like, for instance, you were talking about like Atraxa. I think Atraxa is going to gravitate towards mid-range. It has the capacity to be turbo. And I'm sure there are people playing it as stacks, but I don't think that's a direction the commander is trying to go, because it's big mana, so you got to have a lot of resources out, and then it's refilling your hands, so you want to be casting a ton of spells.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Tayam, that's just looking to like activate. It's just looking to put a ton of activations on the stack, which means the amount of gates that it needs to walk through to be getting to its game plan is very low to the ground. And so if you enjoy stacks, if you're in a meta where it's really strong, and there's a commander that you're interested in that has a viable stacks game plan, there you go.
Yep. I agree. I do think that stacks is like very underexplored right now, and like what people think of as stacks decks. I know that there's a few people that are playing like Bruce Kamal as like a stacks deck. When you've seen Timna Kodama and Timna Halana kind of be a stacks deck. It's not. It's a Turbo Hulk deck that tries to disguise itself as a stacks deck. I truly do think that there is a Timna Dargo deck that stacks that is possible. It's something I want to explore with like our local stacks player that I think is very, very possible.
It's, as you were talking about, like taking letting the deck take you where it wants to go, having just talk to Joey, and obviously actually I'll back up. One thing I do, I change decks so often because I love being part of deck specific discords, which is like cancer. But I love being part of these communities and like engaging with different people and learning from them and seeing what they're excited about with decks. And that's like what pulls me in different directions. But the best Tim Dargo pilots are not always the turbo ones. They're the ones who recognize that Timna is like the best mid-range grind engine you can have. And that deck is the best deck in the format at winning second. And you need to position yourself to be ready to do that when the opportunity arises. And so like being able to do that is really helpful. But yeah, Tim Dargo stacks, I've seen your list. It's disgusting, but it works. Like if you think about what those commanders do together. So I
like the idea of like putting out stacks creatures and stacks artifacts, like to slow down the game and then get into the Timna game plan. And then when you decide that you have enough resources to go to cast Dargo, sacking all those pieces and saying like, oh, you guys are fucked now. Like the idea makes sense in my head. I just don't have the time or wherewithal to put them all together at this point.
Yeah, and where you're trying to go, right? Like as a player,
yeah,
a side quest for Tim Dargo stacks doesn't make sense, even if it is something that's interesting to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are there any archetypes we aren't seeing represented outside of turbo region stacks? I think parasitic decks is another one that comes up, but usually those are, I feel like traditionally we describe something as a parasitic deck if it's not one of these three.
I mean, I will tell you, I think that like the non-turbo versions of Tim Dargo are parasitic decks, right? Like I think that Kellen's version specifically is relatively parasitic. Like any of those decks that like want to win second and don't have enough interaction to justify that game plan is a parasitic deck in my opinion. And I think there's plenty of those decks in our format right now. Like I think Lumira is kind of a parasitic deck. Like you are definitely just you are not set up to win first at all, and you're not fast enough, but you're just expecting other players to deal with problems and then not being able to deal with you. Oddly enough, I think Helga is kind of a parasitic deck, even though I run interaction. I don't. I promise. Please don't expect me to do things. But like, I think that there's definitely some parasitic like ideas in the format still. I just don't know if that is a form of a deck that can work in the long run, because there's a lot of times where you'll sit down in a pod and you're not, like, if you're sitting in a pod and you're the only blue player, or if there's no blue players, like then you can't afford to be parasitic. Like it's not possible. And like sitting down in a pod and accepting loss before the game has started, like that's why I don't think those decks are there for the long run a lot of the times. It's why I stopped playing Yoshi Thras, because I actually do think that deck is like relatively parasitic. And Rog Thras is kind of as well. The more interaction heavy Rog Thrases are a little bit better now, but I do think Yoshi Thras at that when I was playing it was pretty parasitic.
Yeah, I think the low interaction Rog Thras never felt right to me. Like as I played the deck, I was looking for reasons to fit in as much interaction as I possibly could without like diverting the game plan of the deck. Because I think that, I mean, that's why wrong side works, right? Like that's part of what makes Rograk powerful is how much free interaction it enables and how early it does it.
Yeah. I feel like what makes decks parasitic is that the most functional form of interaction they have, both positive and negative, offensive and defensive, is a win attempt. Like if you ever said, if you won't agree to a draw, I will put a win attempt on the stack and force you to agree to one, that is an indication that your deck is at least 1% parasitic, I think.
Yeah.
I will say, like, we just had a few games last night. Like, I was playing with Demetrius and and Matt Hayes, right? Obviously. And like we were playing against Jamin, which he actually asked a question.
Oh yeah.
And he was playing Tim Dargo and like just put a disgusting board state into play like both games turn 2. And I was like, all right, Matt, like how fucked are we? And he's like, I don't have any answers for this. And I was like, I have one. It is us getting a draw. And he's like, yep.
Yeah, I love that game plan. I think that's why I would very much agree with you. Or at the very, that maybe not, I think there's a lot of Loomer pilots who gravitate more towards stacks. Since I'm not a stacks player, I think I moved it into a more like half turbo, half parasitic on the basis of like, yeah, it's just more fun for me. It's more, instead of holding on to like 4 counter spells, I would prefer to have like 4 different like win attempts that I could put together. But it's not the most responsible. And the idea of like, I'm going to slam my head against the wall until something gives is somewhat short-sighted in the sense that I've never heard of anyone walking away having like beaten the wall, right, in that interaction. And so I think that's why we'll see a lot of times people will stay on parasitic decks for a month or 2 before moving on traditionally to turbo or mid-range, because you do, I think, end up either in non-games or in games where your inability to get other players to play the way you want them to just stops functioning. Right? You know, if you're like a parasitic deck against like 3 turbo decks or 3 like stacks decks, you're not going to be able to convince one of them to be more responsible than the other. And so then you're going to be like, oh, you need to like counter this, you need to counter this, and they won't want to. And your only option in a parasitic deck is to escalate the consequences of if they do or don't like interact with it. And if you're in like a situation where you're looking to like, you need them to interact with like this like draw engine so that like they don't have interaction for you, I think it puts you in not just like magic-wise irresponsible territory, but I think that's also where we enter into like a lot of the really, really feel-bad social situations, is when someone's essentially trying to like fearmonger because their deck requires them to.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
deck needs other people to be afraid of, not you. And if your deck only works by other players being scared, that's not an archetype I like.
Yeah,
I agree.
We were going to talk about Convoke today, but I also am out of time.
Okay.
I think what I'll do for that is
I'll
do a demo.
Video.
Yeah, we'll do a demo of Convoke, maybe with that gameplay you, me, Matt, and Demetrius did.
Okay.
Like show some of the features. But yeah,
You would
I've
upload
got to
the
drop.
video where you just fucking cook us, dude.
Yo.
Yeah. Okay.
Where
So
I
when I
have
go to build my
every
entire
answer to
library, here's
everything.
the shortcut I use. And when I go to win the game, here's the.
Jordan's like, all you have to do is have 2 bounce spells, 2 counter spells, and a birthing pod, and we're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
No, definitely.
And also only that, because that's the 5 cards you had in your hand.
Yeah, literally, that was it.
But yeah, please make that video, Jordan, because I want to watch it. Eric needs that.
I don't know. Yeah, dude, I will. We have a nice backlog of stuff now, but I don't know. Anything else for the good of the order?
Potentially, this may be the last Keeping Tabs video we record before we hit 10,000 subscribers, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It is possible. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We also hit a year of being a channel this week.
Oh, yeah.
I was definitely going to wear a fucking celebration hat. Whoops.
Happy birthday. I shaved for this, I think. I forgot.
Dude, yeah, I have not been here for the whole year, but I think what we're doing is really special, and I'm really grateful to be a part of it. And it's not possible without everyone who takes the time to watch our content and play in the league and just hang out with us. So I'm super grateful for all of you guys.
Dude, let's just also say the good Kai, he's saying hi right now on the camera.
What was up?
Oh, hi, bud.
He's just getting ear scratchies right now.
Is he subscribed? Asking for a friend.
No. Unfortunately, dude, his namesake fucking cheated in a tournament, and
that's so funny. But yeah, I feel like we'd be doing what we're doing even if people weren't here, just because we love yapping, we love playing Magic. But the fact that we get to play in these sprint leagues with so many people, the fact that we get to ask and answer questions in this thread with so many people, the fact that after this video we're gonna get to hang out in like the comment section and read what you guys think and hear what you guys are talking about, like that's such a privilege. And I remember I've been like a big YouTube guy for forever, so watching some like random Counter-Strike Global Offensive like YouTuber hit like 100 subscribers and then being like, thank you guys so much. I like get it, like it's just I'm so grateful and appreciative of the people on the team who like you guys all bring such particular skills to the table, or little elements of like uniqueness that help make us the content creation team that we are, as well as like the audience. And I've just learned so much from people either in our comments or in Discord or at tournaments, and to be able to see not just cEDH grow, not just the channel grow, but to watch like myself grow and my friends grow as a part of this project that we're all a part of. It just warms my heart. It's just I'm so proud to be a part of it. Just so happy to be here.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, hell's bells, Fred. I think that's all we got.
Yeah.
I think
Bye-bye.
so too. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.